The Fujicast is an independent loading zone production.
Monday, 11th of May.
The Fujicast.
Welcome to the Fujicast, the daily photography show, which, yes, has the title Fujicast, but you can be shooting anything you like, and we can be talking about any kind of photography. Hello, Kev.
Hello, Neil.
Did you have a nice weekend?
Yes.
Did you do anything?
Was gorgeous weather on Saturday.
Yeah, actually it was, wasn't it?
And a bit miserable on Sunday.
I've been fixing the do you remember that table I fell through? Did I tell you about that?
Well, yes. Sam told me.
It wasn't. I wasn't drunk. I was actually sitting on the table. It's this lovely old table we bought years ago, before we were married, actually, and when we had our first house, and I sat on it in the middle of it, and I fell through it. So my penance is I've spent hours fixing this blooming thing. I think we're almost there now. I don't think I'm going to make a very good finisher on fine furniture or anything. So
what do they call those things? French polisher.
French polisher. That's right. Yeah. No, I don't think that's a career for me. I think I have to stick with the photography. I'm reading loads of stuff at the moment about when people think we might actually get back to weddings, and it sort of goes from anything from September through to next January. Not quite sure what to believe, Kev.
Well, nobody knows today. It will be what it will be. It's all we can do.
Your presets, by the way, Kev. Whoa! If anybody hasn't heard, Kev has got brand new presets out, black and white. Don't get excited, not colour.
There's a couple of bonus colour ones in there.
There are, yeah. I'm being a cheeky sausage. But yeah, no, it's all black and white. And you've been asked for ages to do your black and white presets, and here they are.
I have, yeah. And actually, they've been quite well received, so I'm very happy. Gemma's been kind of whipping me for 2 weeks while I've been slaving away over them. And she said yesterday at lunchtime, she said, Kev, why don't you have the afternoon off?
That's nice of her. Yeah. And then the next day came, get on with your work, Kev.
Now the whip came back out.
Now do the colour presets. Are you going to do a colour preset collection?
Yeah, well, the thing is, what I've done with them is I've worked with them on using proper profiles, so lookup tables and everything. So they're not just a case of banging about the sliders.
Yeah.
So they're properly profiled, which has put me in a good position to do some other stuff in the future. But it is really hard work. It really isn't a case of just dragging the sliders around, then do a file save and hoping people just buy them. So it's proper. It's a proper system.
Well, that's what a lot of people do, don't they? They just move the sliders around, then save them, and then flog those. But you've gone not just one step forward, but a whole load of steps forward to create profiles. Does this mean that any camera brand can use these as well, by the way?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
They're not invented just for Fuji users. They're for Canon.
No. Absolutely not. No, I've been testing them against NEFs. That always makes me laugh. Nikon NEFs. Canon
CR2s.
What do they call them?
CR2s, yeah.
Sony files, and even against my Huawei.
You've used them for the Huawei files.
Yeah, it's cool. It's good. It's good fun.
Wow.
Of course, a lot of people using Capture One these days, so it's it's not for them. But for those that use Lightroom and want to look at them, then yeah, take a look. They're all on the Ministry of Shadows on my Kevin Mullins Workshops page.
And I believe right now you have a special deal on them. Just to sound commercial for a moment.
Yeah, I've got a COVID-19 discount. Isn't that the way that everybody does it? So the moment we're out of lockdown, all those discounts go.
Do they? Is that it?
Well, actually, probably not. Probably the moment I can start earning money again from proper means.
Yeah. Well, I think the presets are proper means. It's great.
Actually, I put a proper shift in for those, I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, I know you've been doing it because I've tested a few for you. By the way, that newspaper profile is really, really good. Yeah, actually, it really, I've tried. I'm going to sound like an advert for Kev now. Stand by. But I've tried lots of different profiles to get that newspaper look. The typical paper, or maybe not even newspaper look, but that sort of look of print from the 70s and 80s. And I think that profile's probably the closest I've come to it. Honestly, I mean that, mate, as well. And I'm not just saying something for the sake of saying and pushing a few profiles for you, but or presets for you. But no, I honestly mean that. It's really, really good work.
Yeah. Good, thank you. Yeah, I'm quite proud of them, I have to say. I don't get proud of much, but I'm proud of them.
Now get on with your work.
Back to it.
Yeah, I looked properly, by the way, at Helen Fennell's site after we discussed some tips and ideas she had sent in over the weekend. Holy schmoly, Kev. Helen Fennell, helenfennell.com, Fennell with 2 N's and 2 L's. Amazing work.
Yeah, she's such a nice person as well.
I was looking at some of her projects on the site, and there's one called Monopoly, where Helen's going to photograph all the places on the Monopoly board. And as she writes, this is my ongoing project to photograph all the locations on the UK Monopoly board. And I spotted the Strand station on there. And that's one of those fascinating ghost stations that we've talked about, isn't it?
Yeah. It's interesting because I spoke to her about that project actually last time I saw her. And there's some places on the Monopoly board that don't really exist any longer, like the station. But there's a couple that are just teeny-weeny little alleyways that, you just would never know they're there.
Ah, can you remember which ones they are? Or
No, I can't.
I haven't played Monopoly. I haven't played for ages. But I went down a bit of a rabbit hole when I was looking at Helen's site because I was looking at disused railway stations. And then, have you ever heard of the fake houses that they built next to some of the underground stations?
No, I don't think so.
Well, look it up when you get a mode. 23 and 24 Leinster Gardens, okay, is the famous one. The front of 23 and 24 Leinster Gardens, okay, well, it just looks like a normal London, one of those London terraced houses. And either side, you got 22 and 25. They're real houses, but 23 and 24 in the middle are fake houses. Because when they were building the underground, they had to have proper sort of venting systems. So they destroyed some houses and essentially built a great big hole. So you've got where the back garden would have been is just one great hole where the trains run. So you might wonder sometimes when you think, oh look, a flash of light. Oh no, we're back in the tunnel again.
Oh, well, that's really interesting. Yeah, I never knew that.
These fake houses, and I was reading about it, and there's a book it's called Underground Overground. And it's kind of a Bible on this.
Free.
And they used to send the coal merchants used to send apprentices to deliver heavy loads to these houses that don't actually exist. So they'd knock on the front door, and they were these fake houses. But talking about things like that, and you said you went down a rabbit warren. I was talking to somebody the other day about the Wikipedia rabbit warren, right.
And it's really interesting. Well, actually, it's not. It's really boring, but I find it really interesting. So what tomorrow when you and I get together, Neil, what I want you to do is go to between now and then, go to Wikipedia, the homepage, type in.
When you say get together, Boris hasn't let us get together formally like that yet.
You know what I mean? go to Wikipedia. We'll both have to search for the same thing. So we're going to search for London Underground.
Okay, so I'm going to write this down. Wikipedia and search for London Underground.
Correct.
Okay.
And then what you have to then you can read whatever you want, but you can only go 20 links. So what you click on, and you go 20 levels into your research, and then you need to tell me what page you ended up on.
Is this one of these things where we're going to end up on the same page whatever happens?
No, we definitely won't.
But so you could be clicking around all manner of stuff. You won't just end up with London Underground, will you?
No. Absolutely not. You're going to go all kinds of places.
20 extensions.
So 20, but you remember you have to count the 20.
All right. What is the 20 important, or should we discuss that tomorrow?
20 is important. No, it's not important. It's an arbitrary number, but it's important we both do the same number.
All right, let's do that. Chantel Fudge has written in. By the way, with your we are literally now, Kev, scraping at the bottom of the questions questions bag. Look, I'll have a look in here. Look, we're almost at the bottom here. But that's because we've had... Well, how many daily episodes have we had? You were counting.
Oh, I can tell you now. Bear with me, caller. COVID-19 dailies. Mm-hmm. We have 53. 50. This is our 54th.
54th. So there we go. 54 episodes. Now, normally, bear in mind, in that time, we would have done, 4, 5, 6 episodes of a Monday. 6, or whatever it is. 7 Mondays, whatever. We've done now on 54. That means we really have raided that question bank. So if you have any, now's a good time to write in. Click at fujicast.co.uk, as Chantel Fudge did, who comes from Shaftesbury. Hi Kev, hi Neil. I've been loving the daily podcast during lockdown. It's informative and funny. A perfect combination. There we go. The new website looks great. And I was wondering, that's quite good you were talking about the website, because look, it's almost, we don't just throw this stuff together. The new website looks great, and I was wondering what platform Kevin uses to build websites. I currently have a WordPress website which needs improving, so any guidance in this area would be really appreciated from Chantel. Chantel, you have the best name in the world, by the way. Chantel Fudge. It's fantastic.
Wouldn't you just be hungry every time you thought about yourself?
Oh, come on then. Well, before you answer this I know you're going to do a semi-thorough answer to this, but I did think, actually, this coming Friday, Kev, we talked about this. Let's do a website special, yeah? Mm-hmm. And we can deal with Squarespace, WordPress, templates, having somebody to design it for you, and. Okay.
Yes, that's a good idea. So website businessy type websitey stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't have to just be business, of course, because if you're doing it as a hobby and you still want a great website. So any questions you like about websites, the how-tos, click at fujicast.co.uk. I'll put something up in the Facebook group as well. But in the meantime, answer Chantel's question there then about the word. She has a WordPress website, needs improving. Any guidance?
So WordPress, the new Fujicast website is indeed WordPress. And the best thing to do it depends on your host, right? So if you've got any kind of decent hosting provider that you use, will probably allow you to do what's known as a staging environment. So it effectively allows you to create a copy and then install a new template and work on it, rebuild your architecture, speed it up, all of that kind of stuff, and then push it live. So that's kind of the best thing to do. That's what we did with Fujicast. But yeah, templates, make sure the templates are modern, themed, secure, responsive, but speed is critical. Speed. Google Page Speed test your website regularly on Google Page Speed Test, or if you want to get a little bit more detailed, gtmetrics.com. But I suppose we could cover all of that on Friday.
One of the criticisms of the old website that we had was that the episodes page was really slow to load. What would have been the reason for something like that? Aren't all websites sort of built and serve equally?
No. So that was all to do with the plugin that I was using to suck the juice out of the hosting provider we have for the podcast. So the plugin code was old and using kind of depreciated JavaScript, and speed was slow. And the new one, and I've tweaked it a little bit. The new one is a lot quicker, a lot more up to date, modern.
And is there a reason, because both of us are talking about Squarespace at the moment as decisions that we are making on some future websites that we're designing. Why did we not go Squarespace with the new shiny, spanky new website? Because
actually WordPress is much better from a kind of media management point of view. So things like podcasts and stuff like that are much easier to manage and auto import and everything else like that. Squarespace is amazing, and I do use it for a lot of my websites, but it has less capability in terms of kind of nuts and bolts and making things a little bit more fun to use, if you like.
Yeah, so Ministry of Shadows is Squarespace, isn't it?
Ministry of Shadows is Squarespace, yeah. And the fact is, Ministry of Shadows took me just 2 days to build, less than that. In fact, I think I did it in 6 hours. You'd never do that on a WordPress site.
And well, there's a few things I want to talk about with Squarespace, because there's a new way that Squarespace is working now, isn't there? So I think there's quite a lot we can discuss there. So get your website questions in then. We'll do it on Friday. Friday's show will be the website special. Click at fujicast.co.uk, or we'll also make a post in the Facebook group as well. Talking to the Facebook group, Alex Fredrickson had a good question off that. Morning, folks. A question about spot metering and the focus point. When I'm in the forest, I meter for the brightest part by using the focus point. But what if I want to focus on people that are elsewhere in the frame? Is there any way to do this? Or is it an either or? What would you suggest, Alex?
Have you got that back button focusing jingle done yet, Neil? Come on.
Back button focusing. Do you know what? Our kids actually have made, for the family quiz that we have every Saturday, they did some jingles. So I need to ask them. They could do the back button focusing jingle, couldn't they?
Yeah, that'd be great. Bless them. It was good to see them on the quiz the other night, by the way. Yeah, so back button focusing is your friend here. So you essentially divorce the autofocus from the shutter button, and the shutter button you half depress to lock in your exposure. So you focus with the AFL button on the back. You move the camera to wherever you want to meter from. This is assuming you're in any of the kind of auto modes, aperture priority, shutter priority, or fully automatic. And then you just kind of half depress, lock the exposure, then recompose. Alternatively, you can lock everything together using if you're on a camera that has a separate AEL and AFL button, you can use the AEL to lock the exposure. I find that really difficult. You need to be an octopus to press all those different buttons. So I typically just do back button focusing. And remember, with the spot metering on your Fujifilm cameras, to make sure that you have the options set and it is set by default, so you shouldn't really worry about it, to have the meter in tethered to the spot position rather than from just the middle, which is, I think, is what most DSLRs do.
Well, thank you. What are you doing there? What are you pulling around on your desk there?
Oh, sorry, could you hear that?
Yeah, that sounds like. Are you building something?
I was brushing dog hair off my microphone stand.
Hi Kevin, hi, this is from Jason Dorner. Hi Kevin, hi Neil, greetings from Nottingham. I have a question about client meetings. I'm a wedding photographer. I know right now we can't meet with clients for obvious reasons face to face, and I think it might be a while before people do want to meet again anyway. In the meantime, I'm assuming by that, Jason, you think people may still want to book, but they may not just necessarily want to come along and meet you face to face. Although they'd have to on the day, of course. In the meantime, I'm having to Skype meet with people, and I find that really uncomfortable. Any thoughts and suggestions on how to make that better? Now, you don't actually meet people at your studio, do you? You do everything really via Skype, don't you?
Well, I very rarely see people at the studio, and if I do see people, I generally do it on Skype, and even that's very infrequent. But yeah, what I would say about Skype, having done quite a lot of webinars and things like that over the lockdown period, is, make sure you don't look like a serial killer on the screen. It's very easy. You've got your laptop pointing at an angle. You're flat on. Your back is up against a white wall with a solid bulb light in the room in front of you. And no matter how gorgeous you might be, you will look terrible. So sit away from the wall. Stick a flower or a painting or something behind you. Have a nice light. Keep the camera at eye level, and that will be a lot better. And remember, always remember. Keep your underpants on.
The cameras don't see round corners, so you should be okay.
Where do you keep your see round corners?
I'm a very strange.
Sam's always got a smile on her face.
I should rephrase that. But also, it never made. I'm not sure if you said this, but I was still thinking about your reference of a serial killer. To be honest, that's what kind of put me off. But all those people that put the camera position really low, so it's looking up your nostrils.
Yeah,
that's the other one. That's why I don't like doing FaceTime meetings for that, because I can never get the phone in the right place. It's just a terrible angle. What about building a mini set? You've got an LED panel or something. Build yourself something that looks really nice in the background. Yeah,
or just sit in front of a window. You're not going to get better light than natural light, of course, if it's daylight outside.
Yeah.
That's your best bet. But yeah, make sure you've got some kind of depth behind you. Sitting right in front of a wall with your back against the wall is just going to be terrible. Have some depth.
I get the feeling that Jason's a little bit uncomfortable as well about speaking to people on Skype, because it's not such a personable thing. I'm not quite sure how you get by that, to be honest. And I feel reasonably comfortable now on Zoom and Skype and all those various other platforms you can now meet people on. I don't know how you get over that one. If you're comfortable,
it is awkward, because you often it's the very first time you've ever spoken to these people, let alone seen them.
Yeah.
And they're feeling as uncomfortable as you are. It cracks me up. But you're amazing how many people do it on their phone and hold their phone vertically, and then you've got the wife or the wife-to-be or the husband, one of them isn't in the picture, and then you can see them jostling to try and get their heads in, and they're pushing their heads into this little vertical space. And I say, turn it down, turn it horizontally. Turn it horizontally. And then they go, oh, look at that.
Now we're all in it. Also, the other thing you could do is actually put some questions on the screen in front of you. Because most webcams, well, certainly, I use an iMac, so the webcam is within the screen. It's just at the top of the screen. But you can. I sometimes have little notes on the screen, so it looks like I'm looking at them. But it gives me a prompt to some of the things I want to ask about, and it can be really cool if you know the venue that they're talking about. Then write down a few little notes about the venue, and you can sometimes surprise them with that. Oh, I saw something, and they'll say, "Wow, right." And I think that can go a long way to people feeling comfortable with you, because they think, oh, this guy's done his homework, or he's got more to talk about than, oh, so what kind of photographer are you looking for? Do you like my albums? Should we discuss prices? Because I think it's really important to talk about the venue and talk about their wedding first, obviously.
Yeah, no, absolutely, totally agree. It is a little bit awkward for people generally. I totally understand that, but I also agree that having something to speak about, and also you have to remember that they are, they're coming to you. You're the professional in this, so it's a little bit like if they're going to buy a car and they go to a garage, they're gonna expect the salesman to do the selling effectively and to be asking the questions, and they to a certain extent need to be directed by you. So don't kind of just go, oh hi, what do you want?
Yeah, well, it can feel a bit like that, can't it? So, I mean, all those suggestions you've made, and I also say use your screen like an auto cue. Write some prompts on there, and keep those prompts reasonably close to where the camera is, and also position your, the little box that comes. Certainly, if you're looking at stuff on the screen, the little box that comes up where you can see their picture, pop that really, really close to where the camera is, where it's sighted. So on an iMac, for example, it's just below. I have it just below the top of the screen, so it looks like I'm looking at them.
That's a really good idea. Yeah, really good idea. Because
otherwise, you tend to, where it default pops up, sometimes it's on the right-hand side of the scring, and you look like you're looking away.
Yeah,
and then there's no interaction.
There's no interaction. Very good idea.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it for today. Friday, then get those questions in for the website special.
We've got to think of a catchier name than that. What goes with that? Friday.
Friday fish and chips. No, what was website?
Friday website frolics.
Oh, we should have done this on a Wednesday. Website Wednesday. We missed. Well, it's too close to it to do Website Wednesday. Website Friday doesn't alliterate as well, though, does it? That could have been another jingle. Website Wednesday. Right. So yeah, we'll see. And don't forget to get your questions in. Click at fujicast.co.uk. Oh, and as we said yesterday, keep sending in some of those nice reviews on Apple.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although technically we're not allowed to ask you for nice ones,
we're not?
just reviews.
Oh, sorry.
But anything will do as long as they're nice.
Rewind that. Don't forget to keep sending those reviews in to Apple. See you tomorrow, Kev.
Bye-bye.
The FujiCast is an independent loading zone production.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.